And welcome back. We just cleaned up ourselves after wiping the tears from our eyes from our messy testimonial. And Guti, we had Mexico finish third in the Olympics. Nice third place finish, having revenge against Japan, who beat them earlier in the group stage, 3-1. How are you feeling now after all of this, waking up early, catching the games later, whatever. It was a lot of soccer for Mexico this summer, but a bronze, Spain and Brazil finished silver and gold, but a very proud bronze for Mexico to take home, I think.
Yeah, I think bronze is weird, right? Because bronze is like, man, we're better than the second place team, right? Like that's how it works. But because you end with the win, right? It's better than losing the final.
With happiness.
Yeah, you end with the. But it's also just shows you like two things we learned from this team is like, two things that they did big. They took the champions Brazil to PKs, and we talked about it, moral victories, whatever, you lose in PKs to Brazil, but man, we almost expect it, which is bad. The second thing is you got to beat the team that beat you in the group, and you got to beat them really bad at home. And you're like, dude, we got to beat Japan. They didn't get to get a medal at their house, which they had done that to Mexico a long time ago, in the Mexico Olympics. So like,
68.
I feel like that was like 50 years ago, but I feel like that was really cool to see. Because it shows that, like, okay, Jimmy Lozano was. I know some Japan was tired, but there's no excuses, right? Tired or not, it is what it is. Mexico's like, okay, this is how we're gonna play Japan this time around, And we saw that change when they played Korea. I thought that was like the best played game. I know they got scored on, but like you just saw them open up and just go at them. And Japan too, that was a really good game. Brazil, they probably played them with a little more timidness than they should have, But it's Brazil. They want to respect them a little bit. But if they play Brazil again, Mexico probably wins. They could probably split a series if they played each other, So I think we go home with a good feeling. You never want to get third place, but it's better than fourth. And you get a medal. If you go to semifinals in any tournament, you did your job. And you obviously from there, you want to try to win it. So I'm okay with the bronze medal. Like I said before, we got guys that earned a lot of respect from their coaches. And we also get to see some guys that are like, maybe they could work out for the senior team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we kind of lose. Everything in sports in general is just win, 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 win. The Olympics in spirit is for you to take a step back and reflect. And a silver and a bronze medal is nothing to waft about, considering we've only medaled one other time in the Olympics, and that was 2012 when we won gold.
Yeah, so, 2 medals in 3 Olympics.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the U.S. hasn't even qualified to those 3. So
yeah, and. I won't talk about the teams that make it. I don't want to talk about those teams, but I'll keep focused on here.
Just to show you're looking at it. You're like, look at the last 3 teams that won, right? The last 3 teams that won: Mexico, Brazil. That's cool.
Absolutely. And I'm with you that I'm very impressed that the team. I thought the Japan victory was the most impressive one because it showed a level of growth in a short amount of time, where Japan were much more the better team in the group stage, and at that point, Mexico had lost to Japan in the group stage. They lost to Brazil in PKs. So can they beat a team, a quality team? South Korea is pretty good, but they were much better. So France showed to be, they were fine, but can they seek revenge? Not revenge, but can they improve and beat a team of quality who proved to be quality like Japan? And they did. So I was very impressed by the coaching adjustments to get into it, the seriousness they took it, to want to win that bronze as well. And for me, so I was very proud about that because it showed a level of growth both by the players and the coaches in a week's time. And you do leave on a good note with the bronze, and you could see the pride that each of the players had in holding that bronze medal. So I think great achievement for them, and I think it builds for so much confidence for a lot of these guys moving forward.
You know how much I looked it up because you know how countries give you money, right, for like getting a medal.
Yeah,
I looked it up. You give Mexico players, those guys, even though they don't need it really, but they get $500 a month for the rest of their lives with the bronze medal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it because every committee has their thing, and so the Mexican Olympic Committee bronze medal was $500 a month for the rest of your life, and silver was like 600, and I think gold was like 650. So I'm like, okay, look, $500 a month for the rest of your life. That's pretty dope. I mean, especially in Mexico, like you're okay. You're okay. Obviously they have more money coming in, but $500, they could help someone else in their family do something with that, So, and not like the soccer players need it because they're professionals, but the other athletes as well are able to do that. And other countries offer more, like some countries that don't win as much. I think like Mongolia offers like $1 million, but they don't really expect their athlete to win, but it's pretty cool to see that.
I think South Korea, you don't do your military time.
Yeah, you don't serve your military time.
You don't serve your military time if you win a medal, which is
so it's pretty cool. But it was just a side note. But no, look at the players, like they got to see the medal, and obviously you'd rather be in the final, you'd rather go for that silver and that gold. But things work out that way. I just feel like it's not bad to lose in PKs to Brazil and to beat the team that already beat you. So you go home like, hey, we only lost in PKs once and we split with Japan. Obviously if you beat Japan, you get to go on the other side of the bracket, you get to avoid Brazil, go to the final, but then you could have lost the final 3-4-0 and it wouldn't taste the same as a win in the third place match. So
or you could have lost to a very good Spain team too.
Like, and then we'd be talking about shoot, so hey, I'm okay with it. I think we just, like I said, it's experience for these guys. And I don't like, people that downplay the Olympics. We know that before the Olympics, that was the World Cup. Before the World Cup, the Olympics, the first couple ones, and we know Uruguay is fighting for that right now. But those used to be like the world soccer event, So it's cool for young guys to go out there and get a chance to be on the world stage. And because of it, and I know it's going to go to the next topic, but because of it, a couple of players are getting looks at, and being able to go to Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. Vasquez looks like he's on his way to Italy. Vega had a good tournament. Looks like he's getting looks as well. Atuna looks like he might be going to Europe, even though it's Olympiacos. So if that's the move, I don't know if that's the right move. That's where I would want to go if I'm going to Europe with Greece, but who am I to say? But yeah, I mean, also, shout out to Jimmy Lozano, who has put in great work with his youth team. And, I think he sets himself nicely for after 2022 to possibly get a look for the Mexican national team for him and his coaching staff. So, great lookout, great for him. And it would be great for a qualified Mexican coach, a young qualified Mexican coach to take over the Mexican national team.
Yeah, he definitely
that hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah. I don't know if it's up yet, but I think I know he was saying he was getting looks at in Japan to go work, or different places. So I think obviously there's some time before the next World Cup cycle, a couple years. So I think he should try to get something else, but absolutely. I think he had a crack before, right, in Querétaro? Wasn't he at Querétaro before? So he's had a crack. I think it is time for young Mexican coaches. I mean, we know like Piti Altamirano's coaching. We know Ramon Morales is coaching. And these guys are like in their 40s, So I feel like, a lot of these guys should get a crack at some of these first club teams, and get a chance. And even if it's not in Mexico, even better. To be honest, Jimmy Lozano doesn't go to Mexico, it's even better. If he can go somewhere else and get a chance somewhere else and pick up a little more, a new style, and not get sucked in with what we do in Mexico all the time, it'd be better for the Mexican pool of coaches.
Yeah, I agree with you. You go to a different part of the country and you're able to a different part of the world, and you're able to pick up and learn different things, both, from a soccer perspective and a cultural perspective that can help you on later,
Yes.
Totally. And, with your point that if he goes to a different country to coach, that taste of finishing third and getting that bronze win is going to stay in the mind of the Mexican people and the federation, the fans, where when they do want to bring him back, it's going to see him as a positive, you know what I mean? And nothing from Mexico, if he does come back to coach in Mexico,
he'd have to win that. He'd have to win the title right away. And if you don't win it, it's like, why do you want him? He got 7th place. Really in Mexico, the only way to be the coach is you got to win the title. And I feel like that's weird when you have a playoff system, right? We talked about that before.
Yeah,
and so
it's very random.
It's very random. And, just like Matias Almeida was a top choice a while ago, he's not right now. You bring him in, you're like, what? Like, why? And so it's very romantic about it. We want it to be right away. And just exactly, if you want Piojo right now, it's not a good move. But if if he wins with America, all of a sudden, hey, he's our coach. And it's not a good look. And I feel like if we can get more young guys to get a chance at other teams somewhere else.
Rafa Marquez starting now in Barcelona.
Yeah, but I see it. I know you're saying him, and I love him, and he's the man. I don't want him on the sideline. I think.
No. See,
I want him
to stay.
Here. Yeah,
he needs to stay far away from the Mexican national team as possible right now. Go through his trajectory.
Yes, go through his trajectory, get a chance, coach. A small team or coach Barcelona, whatever. But then, even when he comes, to be honest, let him be the top dog. Forget the coaching. Let's put him up here instead of someone that's making choices that don't know what they're talking about. Someone that knows how to deal with players. I think a guy like him, I don't know. I think he's too good to be the coach. I'm sorry. I think he's too qualified to be a coach. I know it sounds weird, but to me, coaches sometimes are those guys that and I know Zidane's a coach. I know a lot of these all-stars are coaches, but I've like Jimmy Lozano kind of has that career to be a solid coach because he wasn't that stud. He was a really good player, He got cut from the World Cup team after being on the FIFA cover, and I still can't get over that. So like Jimmy Lozano has that kind of like those up and downs where it's like he knows what it's like to be left out. He knows what it's like to not be the star. And I know he's from a rich family. I know his parents were actors and all that. He's not from this, barrio, but I think he's the kind of like athlete that like studied the game because that's the only way for him to play. You know what I mean? And like, a guy like, different guys that we see coaching other leagues, you never heard of them as players. You hear them as the coaches, So I feel like, I don't know, to me, Rafa Marquez, just like Hugo Sanchez, like, we don't need you on the field, man. We need you guys kind of organizing stuff. And I don't like Hugo Sanchez, but
no, Hugo Sanchez can stay where he is.
He can stay on TV. I know,
he can stay with his hot takes.
But guys that had that kind of trajectory up here, like we need them more as a directivos, guys that like could organize stuff and set up things, and be more strategic about it, and not be the guy day-to-day kind of guy. I don't know. This is me.
I don't know if Marquez comes out to be the Zidane in Mexico, I'm okay with that too.
But see, I don't think he's dumb enough to go coach La Selección Mexicana. I don't think he's that dumb. I
don't think the Mexican national team would want Rafa Marquez because Rafa Marquez has seen what the Mexican Federation needs to improve on, and he will demand that. He will demand all the things that he saw as a player to be fixed. And if the Federation doesn't want to, they're not going to hire him. I think he's somebody who just has too much intelligence, and then again, he's been there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like
to take it. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I don't think they would want him for that. You know what I mean?
Because then he's gonna let out some real stuff. He's gonna make them change, and I think like letting Rafa Marquez, like he has an opportunity to coach Barcelona. He really does. Like he really does have a shot. Like because he's that guy. He was smart. He like played that position where he saw the whole game develop. He's in the back of the field. And I feel like if he works on that, I could see him. I mean, that to me is a bigger thing. If he's coaching Barcelona, is bigger than coaching the Mexican.
Well, it's the footsteps of like Pep Guardiola, who coached the youth teams before, Zidane, who was coaching youth teams, Raúl, who coaches the youth team at Real Madrid, and I think we kind of forget because Rafa Marquez, we've seen him, he's so familiar to us, but he kind of is in that he's not like Zidane level of talent, but for Barcelona, he is kind of has hierarquía there because he was there for so long, and I think we kind of forget that. I think at times as fans, but he is beloved in Barcelona, and he does have like that kind of stance and support and love from an institution of that level, and to do that. So
he's got to take advantage of that. He's got to take advantage that he's in that like in that Rolodex of coaches, because a guy like Hugo Sanchez has been barking to try to get a chance, but although he was one of like the top dogs in his day, he talks too much, and I'm pretty sure he's just stepped on a lot of feet, and I don't think they really want to mess with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't see, you know what I mean? Like even though he was probably a bigger impact for Real Madrid at the time than Rafa was, but I feel like Rafa like just did his thing, was quiet, played enough. He played 10 seasons or whatever it was, and was there long enough. And I feel like it's just, I don't know. Like you say, he's not Ronaldinho, but Ronaldinho's not a coach. Ronaldinho and those guys aren't coaches. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So go back to focus back on the Mexican national team now. So I think we both came up with some players on who we think were from what we saw this summer, both senior team and Olympics.
Yeah, we got
a team going on thinking a month from now World Cup qualifying. Starting in goal, who do you like? I'll tell you if I agree. I might give you some alternative subs of who I like, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah, we'll just roll with like a little starting 11 if we had to play today, right? Like today, if we had to play U.S., right, and we had to play them today, in Columbus, this is the team I'm going with guys that are ready today. So obviously, we're gonna go with Memo in goal. No Memo, no party. And anyone who knows me, it took me a while to kind of love him. I just kind of was a little hater for a while, just because it was easy to do it. But he's definitely the man now, and he's definitely at his point. This is it right here. This is his last World Cup. This is his shot. So I think Memo's going to be the guy in goal. And I don't know if you agree with that.
I agree. Yeah, if I wanted to roll out the rest, Carlos Salcedo from Santos in there, I think he's earned it. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's not playing today.
I know, but I don't know why. Tata won't even call him.
No, I know, and I don't think that's right either. But no, we're talking about today. Ochoa's going to play in goal, and if he wasn't able to go, I think Talavera would be the second choice to play.
Probably.
And I know it's not like our likes because we want to see something new, but that's just not going to happen today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then in the back, I mean, it's the summer of Chaka, man, and I'm going to put Chaka on the outside because I just don't see anyone else taking his right spot. Not today. So I'm going with Chaka on the right, and then my two center backs. I know they don't know each other, but I feel like we need to find a way to put Araujo and Johan Vasquez together. Just because I don't like Cesar Montes yet. And Johan Vasquez is on his way up. Like you said, he's kind of doing the Hector Moreno kind of, a trajectory where he's going to go to a small team and kind of work his way and go to Genoa, right, in Italy. So Johan Vasquez with him in the center and then Gallardo on the left. So I don't know what you think for the defensive back.
I had almost the same exact one. I had Chaka there. I was thinking about maybe putting Jorge Sanchez on there.
It's summer of Chaka, baby.
Oh man, but no, I had Gerardo Arteaga on the left hand side.
Arteaga, yeah, okay. I'm cool with him too.
Who I think had the best summer by not being involved that much. You know what I mean? I think he had one of those things where
he might have saved himself. I think I'm okay with that because he does play in Belgium and all that. But Gallardo fits the system too. So I think with those two, I think we're not in trouble with either one of those.
No, and sneaky pick. Eric Aguirre, sneaky pick who,
he's very.
You can plug him in the left. You can even plug him in the midfield. Versatility.
No, he'll be in the 23. I don't see him starting yet, but I see.
Yeah, I don't think he'll. Yeah, I guess he won't start. But when we look forward to quickly World Cup qualifying, when you go 3 games and in a week, that kind of ability to play different positions like that. But starter, probably not. I would say it's between Arteaga and Gallardo to battle out on the left-hand spot.
And we're okay either way.
Yeah.
I think right now, like you said,
absolutely.
With the little series, you can rotate him out.
I think Gerardo kind of got a rough go ahead when he did play for Mexico this summer because the game he played in, they played 3 in the back instead of having a 4, and he was just so far out wide and they didn't involve him enough offensively, and he had to do too much track backing. So I think the setup of a 4-3-3, I think the way we both have it, he works well in that.
And I think he's better than Gallardo, and he has more like trajectory right now. But we'll see what we need to do. If we had to play today, I think Gallardo will get called, but we'll see because there's still like a month, Yeah. So and then the midfield, I'm going with 3. So Hector Herrera's not going anywhere, and so Rio is going to stay there. And then I really like Jonathan Dos Santos. I've always liked him from La Masia, like we talked about before. You could tell he's from La Masia. You could tell he plays that way. Everything's one touch. Everything's a great pass. Everything's a good shot. So I'll put Jonathan Dos Santos right there. And then I'm going to go with, and this is where it's really hard because it's really deep right now. I would go with Sebastian Cordova right now. But I know Tata's probably going to call Romo. But I would go with Sebastian Cordova right now.
Okay. Me for my midfield. People are going to hate me for this, I think. But I'm going Edson Alvarez, Herrera, and Guardado. Give me those 3, baby. Give me the 3. Because Guardado, he's going to be there. Whether you like it or not, he's going to be there. I think if he's healthy, he's going to be there.
I'm okay with that. I think I wouldn't go with Guardado. I mean, that's cool, but I think definitely then I'm going to take out the Romos in them. And I think you're right. And I totally forgot about Edson Alvarez, and Edson Alvarez needs to play. So, but it's okay. I'm still going to stick with what I got. But Edson Alvarez, Jonathan Herrera would be really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you do. I mean, you have Cordova is a great option. Luis Romo too is also a great option too. And
but I forgot Edson has to play. I'm sorry, Edson's gonna. I messed up. Edson has to play over these guys I just called. So Edson is playing. He's not moving from that spot.
But the good thing with these kind of things you see, whether it's Romo and Alvarez, Guardado, and Dos Santos, or you can even throw in like Gutierrez in there. And they're interchangeable in a way. You know what I mean? They're similar. They're very similar for what Tata wants to do, and Tata has proven that he doesn't really have adjustments to plan Bs besides changing players. So these kind of things kind of work in those favor for that.
And if you you're not really taking a step down. If you take Edson out, you sub him out, you put Romo in, you're really not taking steps down.
Yeah, you're not a huge. You
still got Charlie.
Edson has some strengths that Romo doesn't have, but Romo really showed to be really flexible and playing different areas of the field and doing a lot for that Olympic team, which was
Edson's the next captain, man. I really think he's coming up to be the next captain. I mean, he's really young, and I think after Herrera's run this time. I mean, I think the captain band could be passed down. I mean, Edson's a beast, bro. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So forwards, do you have when I thought about this, I was counting Lozano not playing because he hasn't returned yet for Napoli.
Me too.
So I did
Me
mine
too.
without. Okay.
I don't have him in there. We know he's going to play if he's healthy, but I'm
Yeah.
going with Funes Mori at the 9 because he's healthy and Jimenez is not there yet as far as like in shape. So I'm going Funes Mori at the 9, and I'm going Alexis Vega and Tecatito. And obviously we sub out Tecatito, we put Linus in halfway through the game.
Okay.
Whatever.
So if we see Jimenez start for Wolves this weekend, are you changing it?
I don't know, man, because I don't know if like they're kind of like babying it. I mean, they're not babying it, but they're kind of just waiting to see what he could do. I think that's not going to make him be traveling and stuff. I maybe they probably call him over, and with the 3 games you put him in, we'll see, man. If he starts, like I said, for Wolves in the next 3 weeks and he's like playing full games or at least 70 minutes or something, then you do call him. But I don't know, man. Funes Mori, if we played USA tomorrow, Funes Mori would have to play at the 9. I think if we play USA tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, those are the 2 forwards I had between picking them. I had Jimenez with the idea of thinking like, because the minutes have been getting up little by little. You know, it kind of seems from what Wolves are saying from that he's almost pretty much all back. So I'm kind of counting like, all right, if we got first game World Cup qualifying September, if he.
But do you start him though? Like it's been a while. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not saying he's lost his spot. He's definitely the 9. But do you start him right away, or do you sub him in as like, I think you give him 30 minutes? Do you make him kind of earn it back? I know you can't take it away from getting hurt, but do you just start him right away? I mean, I don't know. What do you do in a month?
I think, I guess I would start him. I want to see what he has. You know, I want to see what he can do. Knowing that you have Funes Mori as that backup, who's a much
and those are going to be the 2 9s. I mean, there's whether people like it or not, those are going to be like you said. He only subs man for man, and they're kind of not dead on, but they're pretty similar. Like as far as like what they can do with the ball. So you just switch him in and out. Because Andy Martin doesn't. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. I mean, and then you'd hope somebody like Jota gets a chance.
But he has to prove it, bro. Because I'm a huge fan of his, and I've been barking at it since he was young, and he was starting out in Chivas. He was scoring all the goals at U17s, right? And I'm like, this is a guy, but he's got to show something. You know what I mean? He's got to show that he needs to be there. Until he shows that, then he's going to be the 6-7 option. You know what I mean? But he's definitely skill wise can get there. So we'll see, because there's no reason why he shouldn't be there instead of Alan Pulido or a lot of these other guys. But we need to see him do something. We need to see, and I think getting away from Chivas media and getting away from Mexican media, he'll have a little chance to kind of work in Getafe and do his thing. I know they're going to expect a lot because he's a foreigner, but I just feel like, I don't know. You see what he did when he went to Leon. You know, he just was able. I know they're a better team. They played better, but I just feel
much more professional functioning soccer team.
They were more functionable. They were able to plug him in. They had a better coach. They knew how to use him. But I feel like he also had help. You know, he had Mena. He had guys that could take the pressure off of him, and then he came in and scored the goals. And he's a dope player, man. He just needs to show it, though. We can't just give it to him just because, he's upcoming, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, player for the future that I think you mentioned him before as well, Santiago Jimenez. Not right now, but definitely future. And actually, I had Vega and Corona as well as the 2 forwards up top. I think Vega earned it through his playing the Olympics. I know Corona didn't have like the best Gold Cup, but I thought it was just a really long summer. I'm going to keep just saying he got the crap kicked out of him. And I thought that kind of caught up to him over time. And so, but, you have Linus, you have Atuna to be good changes too. And, you could even, depending on the situation and what you want to do, you could start Vega on one side and you can start Linus on the other. You can start Corona on one side and you can start Atuna on the other. And, you got
Antuna. You got Antuna, Linus, Chucky. And you got Tecatito that really could technically play all the same position. So you have a lot of guys that you can interchange. They're not all the same, but they do really well. And Alexis Vega, bro. Alexis Vega is the guy of the summer. I'm sorry. I think he's banging on the door. He needs to be on the senior team and he needs to get minutes and he needs to leave Chivas and he needs to go play a bigger team. And I'm sorry. I think Alexis Vega just showed it, bro. Like this guy has size, speed, quality. He's more consistent than Antuna. He's more consistent than Linus. I'm sorry at this moment. And so I just feel like he needs that chance. He's not a young kid anymore. So I want to see it.
Those are kind of so we have similar kind of starting lineups for this. I think from expanding a little bit. The roster, the full roster is almost the same too. A couple changes, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires as we get closer to that World Cup, to the World Cup qualifying, because now we'll see where some of the players who were injured are at. You know, Guardado has got minutes with Betis, Captain Betis, preseason friendly. It looks like he's going to be the captain when Joaquin isn't. Something that he's had for the last 2 years already with Betis. Yeah, Raul coming back. We'll see the progression with Lozano as well. So a lot of options for Mexico, a deep roster, which will be needed for World Cup qualifying. I think this is something we'll be banging on a lot. The ability to, you know, in that 4-3-3 structure, be able to change different players and plug in different players depending on what the other team is, the strengths of the other team, the weaknesses of the other team.
Don't forget, like, I feel like we also have to forget, like, I know we're like trying to knock Tata a lot for what happened this summer, but I feel like also Tata also, whether he was told or not to, but players that we're mentioning could definitely be on the senior team, and they went to the Olympics instead. So you got to give a shout out to the club owners for allowing them to do that. You got to give a shout out to Tata for, like, I guess, allowing it as well, and kind of planning with Jimmy Lozano as far as who gets to go, who doesn't get to go. Because, you know, most, like, remember before, the coach used to coach the Olympic team. Remember, that was how it was before. Hugo Sanchez tried to do it and he got fired. So, like, I feel like, you know, Tata would be coaching the Olympic, and then we would send Jimmy Lozano or someone else to go coach the Copa Oro, or his assistant, you know. So, like, we got to give a shout out to Tata kind of maybe taking a step back and letting that happen, because a lot of these guys we're talking about are starters, man. They're not like, oh, project players. Like Alexis Vega is not a project player. Linus is not a project player. Those guys are starters, and if they're hot, they're ready to go. You know, Choa obviously wasn't there, so, like, there's guys that aren't there. Romo, you know, so, like, you know, shout outs to that, and kind of hopefully they're able to plan that again next time around. Hopefully, like, the next Olympics, they're able to plan together and do that again.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, good point there, man. They definitely put an emphasis on having a good showing in the Olympics, and I think that showed. And I think, you know, the teams that made the Olympics a priority or a focus, you definitely saw it. You know, Spain has a rule that if a player plays in Spain and is of age and gets called up, he has to go. You know, and you see the fruits of that labor with the quality of roster they had in getting a silver medal. Brazil, they've taken this seriously. The last three Olympics, you're seeing the fruits of that. You see how much it meant to Dani Alves. You see Japan, how important it was for them with the team they brought in to host and have a good showing for them. Mm-hmm. And I thought they made themselves proud. And yes, Mexico, the planning they put in 2 years before on having some sort of progression, you're seeing that too. So absolutely, you know, I think we bang on the federation a lot negatively for a lot of things they do, rightfully so. But I think in this one, they did a great job planning. And when you see what happens when teams plan and take it seriously, you know, unlike a Germany, unlike a France, who don't have those same rules that a Spain has, who don't have these plans that Mexico does, you know, you see it here for Mexico. So shout out to the federation for that, and for the coaches and their flexibility in that too.
And it shows the talent also that you have in the Mexican league of young guys, not just guys that are Mexican, because before, Mexico had a lot of good players, but they're in Europe. You see, that's what happened with Hugo Sanchez. He wasn't able to qualify because Gio, Vela, all these other guys weren't able to come anyways, right? They weren't allowed to come, so he had to go with another team, which they should have still qualified.
So, yeah, but now you're using USA. Now you're using USA excuses.
No.
Don't be using USA excuses.
I'm sorry. But I'm just giving you examples of, like, this isn't before. A lot of the best Mexican youth were not in Mexico. I'm not saying that we want that. We want players around in Europe, but it shows how much talent is in Mexico. And Guignac has said it too. He's like, all these guys, the Olympic team, play in the Mexican league. Like, they have like 80 games, 80 caps. Like, they've been playing for 2-3 years, you know? So it's not like they're rookies, you know? And that's big.
Yeah. All right. Moving along, Mexican League, Liga MX, you know, right when the Gold Cup ends, the Olympics are wrapping up. Liga MX is 3 weeks in. We also have a tournament between 4 teams of Liga MX, 4 teams of the MLS, a non-FIFA sanctioned tournament, kind of like put together knockout League Cup, I think it's called. Did I get it right?
Leagues
Cup. You know, it was supposed to happen last year. I was kind of excited last year for it because when I lived in Portland, the Timbers were going to host one of the games. Didn't happen. They moved the tournament on this season, new teams. I mean, where are you at right now with Liga MX and this kind of iteration of another tournament? You know, CONCACAF Champions League starting up soon again too. So, you know, Mexican soccer doesn't stop. So much going on right now with that. Where are you at with everything with
It's
that?
like it's like those Haripels and like concerts. There's too much. It's like I can't even keep up with what group is in
it's
town.
like Mexico in December.
It's too much. Un baile every day. It's just too much, you know. Like, and I get it. It's the cash cow, but like, there's just no need for that. I'm sorry. The leagues. I get the idea. It's money. I also get like the idea, like the Mexican leagues, like, hey, we want every team playing an international tournament, and this will count as one of them. But like you said, it's not FIFA sanctioned. There's no need for it. It's almost like they should just send the bottom of the table from the season before. Like, you know, give Mazatlán a chance, give Chivas a chance, give other teams a chance to go play at this. I just don't. There's no need of this, man. I don't want to see this. I really don't care.
I mean,
sorry.
It's wild, right? Because you have the Leagues Cup and Champions League. Also, you have Monterrey playing against Cruz Azul. You have Club America against the Union in a tournament that, you know, in the spring, early spring, late spring, early summer, had the first couple of knockout legs into it, and you have that. Then you have this, which actually means something, which, you know, it does stand for something. Then you have the Leagues Cup, which kind of a makeshift tournament put together.
And you got the All-Star game coming up.
You got the All-Star game coming up, which we'll touch on. It's 2 weeks away. We'll touch
next
on those
episode,
two.
we're going to talk about the whole All-Star game for sure.
Yeah, so much going on. And then you have the league itself, and you have these teams that aren't complete. Some of these teams aren't even complete yet. You know, these players haven't even had time to rest, and they're throwing these games 3 weeks into the season. Oh, man. I mean, Cruz Azul, Toluca right now, the only team in Liga MX after 3 weeks who have won all 3 games. Everybody else has already dropped points.
I mean, as fans, we're tired. Like, we're tired, bro. Like, this is a lot. So I feel like the players are also probably like, man, even the teams, you know. So, you know, Chivas is not where they're at. 4 of their players weren't there, you know. It's just a lot of things, man. I think Liga MX, we got to kind of wait till like the 7th, 8th week where you're like, okay, now people got together, their players are back from international activity, you know, and you know, people started summing points a little bit. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I'm not really impressed with too many teams. I know Toluca, like you said, won their 3 games. America was playing here and there, but they got so many games going on right now. It's a lot, you know, so we can't complain because in Europe, they do all the time. They have all these cups, and we want the Mexican league to get to that point where they have all these cups. But as a fan, last week, bro, I took a break. I mean, this weekend, I watched no games. I was tired, like from watching soccer, kind of like, man, I'm just going to watch Amazon Prime and other stuff. So yeah. How do you feel about the league? How do you feel about your team? We can talk about your team if you want. Atlas, how do you feel about them?
I mean, only team that hasn't allowed a goal yet. You know, 2 wins, the first 3 games. The next couple, you know, you got their next schedule. The next part of their schedule is pretty tough. Club America, Santos, Toluca, Tigres, Monterrey. So tough stretch coming in, and that'll be a real testing point of this team. But I like Atlas. You know, I like what they have. I like. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very excited about what I've seen so far, what the players they have, and they're kind of carrying on where they finished off last year, the last half of the tournament, where they kind of got into that quarterfinals spot, you know, lost by a goal to Puebla, but it kind of seems like they were definitely building with that. You have Fuchs healthy now, Vargas, who I think should have been on the MLS All-Star roster as one of the best. He's one of the best keepers. He's a fantastic keeper. He's been he's a suplente for Colombia, so you know he's not just some scrub or some guy. You know, he's been there for a while too. I think Club America were almost bought him too, but yeah, I think
come on.
Yep.
A lot of Liga MX goalies are dope. I think a lot of them are dope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, international or not, even the Mexican guys, like there's a lot of dope goalies where like, I mean, that's a position in Mexico that's always really been covered, and it's really hard to get a spot there. Because even like Mexican teams have backup goalies that are dope too, you know. So you know,
absolutely.
Yeah, like guys have come through here that are, you know, like you said, international players. You know, Machacin was in here, and you know, Nahuel Guzman. These guys play for Argentina, you know. So I you know, Camilo Vargas is dope. I just don't think, like you say, he plays for Atlas. He doesn't have maybe like that push from the promote like everybody else gets, you know, especially like, come on, you know, they're going to play Memo on the first All-Star game.
Yeah. I mean, this we can talk about more
yes,
because it's an All-Star team, but it's
more like a tribute game. It's like a marketing game.
It's kind of like a marketing All-Star team. To get back to the point about Atlas though, you know, it's, as I've gotten older, my fandom is still, I watch every game and I'm there for them, but I don't, you know, I always take it with a grain of salt. I always like, now I hold my I don't I don't start thinking about title. You know, I always hope for a title, but I never, you know. So when they play well, I'm always like, I always hold on. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I'm enjoying it for what it is now. You know, I've embraced the losing for decades and decades and decades.
It's only
But
70, man. It's only 70
it's
years.
something it's something that I thoroughly enjoy, and I really like when they do well. So the good start is very nice. It, but yeah, it's just very nice, and I enjoy it a lot. But I do tamper my expectations with them every year, and
Yeah,
so
and we'll touch more on the Liga MX next week for sure.
I will take one more thing about the Liga MX though, and you talk about about the 8, about maybe by week 7, week 8, the quality might get better. I think this might be a pretty choppy quality Liga MX because you're getting a break every month for international duty. So every couple of 3 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every month, these teams are gonna have to not stop, but they're gonna take a break for international duty, and it's just gonna put a halt again for these teams. So I'm kind of expecting a really choppy Liga MX where the top, last year Cruz Azul and had a ton of points. Copa America had a ton of points. I don't expect a very top-heavy Liga MX this season because there's going to be so much start and stop. So I think it's going to the point difference is going to be very low, and especially the last 4 weeks of the season, you're going to have so many teams with an opportunity to make the repechaje. You're going to have these teams battling for the top 4.
It'll be close. It's going to be close.
Yeah, it'll be much close.
I just want to wait, like you said, 7 weeks, 8 weeks to see where we're at. But I think, all the breaks, man. We got the FIFA breaks, Copa Champions break. I mean, not breaks, but Copa Champions in the way. So you got reserves playing on the weekend, and it's going to be tough for a lot of these like big teams to kind of compete because they have like all these guys just playing here everywhere. They got international players. You got Memo who's going to be playing with an all-star team and playing with the Mexican team, and like
you almost want to survive the season and just be in a position. You know what I mean?
To make that strike at the end.
Yeah. You just want to be. Yeah. So I think a team like Necaxa is going to be out of it all season, but there's going to be much more teams kind of floating in average mediocrity with a chance to make it than there are going to be super teams like leading the pack and teams in the bottom like Necaxa right now who are just terrible. I think so. Yeah, that's my prediction from what I've seen so far, and kind of what looking ahead with the kind of schedules bringing us and with all these different things happening.
Yeah, I agree.